Thank you. Let's hear it for Ben. Come on. What a legend. What a message. What a legacy. Thank you so much. I feel very honoured to be invited here today. And it's been a very strange day because I was back in Parliament this morning on a Saturday morning. There you go. Somebody gets all the fun. And then I've had some local things and I've come here today. There's so much I'd love to say. Principally, the point is that to me, poetry is an inspiration and inspires so much in my life and in the lives of millions of people. It's a release for young people going through stress, to write a poem about their lives, about the stress, about the fears, about the horrors that they live so often. And it's about older people reflecting on their lives. And the great thing about poetry is you can mix up all the words. It doesn't have to rhyme. It doesn't have to have meter. It doesn't have to stick to a specific subject. It doesn't even have to be accurate. It's a way of bringing stuff together. And when we produced this book, Poetry for the Many, I didn't realize the effect that poetry and poetry events can have. We've been doing poetry events all over the country with this book, where we read a few poems, then invite the audience to discuss them, or read their own poems, which they often do, particularly the young people. Absolutely fascinating. It's a sense of release that it brings. We need a society where there's more poets. We need a society where there's more artists. We need a society where there's more imagination. And that is so much of what we lose and so much of what we could get. Now, there's lots of Ben's works that one could read, and I think the most nice experience I had over the sort of Christmas, New Year period, I went to Birmingham for Robin Campbell's 70th birthday. Robin Campbell of UB40, you know UB40, of course. The room or the place where the party was held was so ram-packed with all of Birmingham's music talent, you could hardly get in, and once you got in, you couldn't get out, so there you were. And then, before that, we went to see the Science Museum in Birmingham, and on the walls, all along outside it, are panels and panels and panels of Ben's poems. Absolutely fantastic. So I spent half of the time just reading those and photographing them all. They're absolutely wonderful. What I want to do now, because I know you've got other things to do, I just want to briefly do two things. One is to read a short poem that Ben wrote that I think is an absolute message of the times. You might feel annoyed, you might feel angry, you might feel depressed, you might feel disempowered. What is power? It's you, it's me, it's you, it's you, it's you, it's us together. It's our imagination, it's our unity, it's our determination, and our belief that nobody should ever be forgotten and left behind, be they somebody sleeping rough on the street or going through a hell of a depression alone in their home. We need a society that's inclusive of all of them, and we share the wealth out for all of them. So, the poem of Ben's I want to read is this. I had to write it out by hand because I couldn't work out how to electronically transfer it from the bit I'd read it on onto my phone. And so as we're coming here in the car, I had to write it out in my notebook. Sorry about that. So if I misread any of it, the problem is my handwriting. If only we could really see the roots, the trees, and the wood for the trees. If only we could really taste the fruits of our labor, not bitter waste. If only we could really smell the scent of roses and what they really tell. If only we could really hear the sound of resistance getting louder in our ears. If only we could really feel the urge to unite and stand heel to heel. If only we could really do. Wait, hold on. What's stopping you? And the last poem I want to read is by somebody that is a big inspiration on me. And as some of you know, the best years of my youth were spent in the Caribbean, in Jamaica. That's where I really got an education. And I learned so much about people, learned to respect so much about people and about the history of the struggle of the people of the Caribbean against slavery, against the history of slavery, and for independence and for liberation. And that struggle brought out so much brilliant poetry and so much understanding and the links between the Caribbean and Africa. And so, and one of Andrew Salke's poems, which we put in our book, is called I Into History Now. It's an excerpt from it because it's a very long poem that he spent 20 years writing. Just imagine every 5 years you'd see Andrew, hi Andrew, how's the poem going? Not quite finished yet. You'd sort of imagine. I think if I was spending 20 years writing a poem, I'd keep quiet about it and wait for it to come out. Maybe he did. So I'll just read you this. You see all of them, sweet young fuck walking, cross Urso, over by the dry goods store. You did no say that none of them know much history under them skin, coil up inside their so like baby hold back from born. You did no say that none of them or you know how much them and you and me go through, how, when, how long, what for, and where we going. You see all of them, rascal just giving, all we cockastan and moving easy, soft cool breeze and dropping shadow. Where them don't belong. Is that yes? Culture come when you buck up and you self. It start when your body makes shadow in the lane, and you know what say, that you standing up in mirror underneath you, I say to myself, is how them men to music go. You say, is how the river flow, or how the sea does lay down so. I done with you, I into history now, is the land I want, and is the land I out to get. Andrew Salke, thank you very much.